I'm Chris, I'm on a placement with the local nature reserve projects for Bolton, working for the Wildlife Trust. So today out here with the Friends of 7 Acres, we've split the groups up into two. We've had half of the group doing the coppicing and cutting back the hedgerow along the back of Bury Road. The other purpose for cutting down the hedge at the side is that next year when it grows back it becomes a lot thicker and it's going to be better protection for the birds. And typically with the coppicing we usually make dead hedges out of these, which are always fantastic because they always allow all different kinds of life. Let's move to one over to the silt here, which is designed to trap all the leaves and the gunk in the way to stop it getting into the ponds. The problem with the silt trap at the moment though is that it's, instead of going over the middle of it and the sides collecting all the silt, it's actually going to just one side and it's eroding away the soil, which we don't want to happen. So we've made a rivet along the side of it, we've pushed it down as far as we can with all the sticks that we cut down, and at the back of it we've put some stones. Also with the silt, because we've already got quite a lot in here, we were digging it out and using it for compost on the other side, which will be sowing bluebells into there. Later this afternoon we'll be sowing our annual meadow, and it will have a variety of wildflower which I'll leave till people are Bolton to see next year to surprise you. This afternoon we're going to do essential maintenance on the pond. This is a man-made pond, so it's been designed to hold the water at a certain level, which hasn't exactly been happening. The overflow hasn't been overflowing. Instead, when it's gone down to the bottom of it, we're not entirely sure what's been coming out. So today we tried to put some dye into the water there and see exactly where it's coming out into the brook. Later on we came over here, and as you can see at the sides here we completely cleared all the brambles with stacked rocks to the side, so we get a nice flow and a faster flow straight through all the way to the pond. Where before the overflow was a small trickle, you can now see that it's moving quite fast and it's exactly the way we want it to be.
Hi, I'm Alan Morris, and today we're going to be looking at the birch tree, in particular the downy birch which we have here. This is quite a common tree on 7 acres and a lot of the woodlands around Bolton. It's one of over 400 different types of birch tree that we have. Most of them are hybrids, some are quite easily identified, such as the pendula silver birch or the Jackamontii or the paperbark birches. But this is a native species which will generally overtake areas of land which have been in the past neglected or left, and in the past this was a landfill site and the trees have naturally progressed onto this area, naturally seeded themselves. They pave the way really for things like the oaks to come into place. They're a short-lived tree, they don't grow particularly big, very fast to grow and very quick to die, but they will start to take over and reclaim land. So they do have uses. They are traditionally used for writing on, one of the first forms of paper in the bark. People have made kitchen utensils out of the wood and also out of the bark, which is particularly strong, very resistant to rotting, so used for a lot of purposes. And in the past it's been used for making coracles for drifting down rivers, so quite waterproof as well. The tree itself is an excellent food source for wildlife. We have the catkins, which on a tree will produce millions of tiny seeds, and we've got evidence on this tree of where the catkins have started to be eaten. It's mainly by birds, small birds, and the catkins in spring will provide an early source of nutrition, and also when the seeds have developed, there's a good food source. The tree also gives name to the word birching, which was a traditional punishment, and the pagans believed that birch trees would drive out evil, and when the Christians came along they adopted that idea, and people that committed crimes or misdemeanours, as a punishment they were considered to be evil by the church, and therefore they were birched, and the wood used was the wood off of the birch tree. It also makes up the brushy part on a witch's besom, and along with willow and hazel makes up the traditional witch's broom. So there's a lot of history surrounding the birch tree. Another good use for it in spring when the sap is rising is tapping it for the sap and making birch wine. So it has not only uses for humans but also for animals, and it's very good for the environment in terms of reclaiming disused land.
Oh.